All right, so let's start with a little bit of grounding. And I invite all of you to stretch wherever you are as you're seated on your chair. Maybe stretch your arms as much as you can on towards your head, on the sides. Let's take it to the back. Let's roll our shoulders a little. For those of you who've been sitting all day, I think this would benefit. And I now invite you to partly close your eyes or fully close your eyes, whichever way it's comfortable to you, with your feet on the ground. And I invite you to take a deep breath in at the count of 4. Hold it for 2 seconds and exhale at a count of 6. Let's inhale again at the count of 4. Let's hold it for 2 seconds and exhale at the count of 6. Now I invite you to breathe normally. And as you breathe in and out, be the observer of your breath. How is your breath? Are you breathing a short breath? Or is it going right to your belly? How comfortable are you breathing? Just observe. Try and also observe if your breath is from your left nostril or your right nostril or both your nostrils. Feeling in your body. As we do this, let's accept our breath as it is, not trying to change it, and be in complete acceptance of here and now, and be mindfully present to our body, to ourselves, to this space, to each other, and to everything nature, everything living on this planet. I invite you to take your time to arrive here by opening your eyes. And when you do that, please look at someone whom you haven't met before and give a big smile to that face, that unknown face. Welcome, everyone. You can leave a word in the chat about how you're feeling. And we will now invite you to a short breakout room of 5 minutes with 2 of you in that room to share about how you're arriving here today. Welcome once again, all of you, those who joined in a little later. I now welcome our guest speakers, Arun Wakhlu and Malati Kalmadi. Arun is a visionary leader and a transformative coach known for his profound insights into human potential and organizational growth. With a sound focus on holistic development, he empowers individuals and teams to unlock creativity and foster collaboration. His approach blends practical wisdom with deep empathy, inspiring others to embrace change and achieve meaningful success in their personal and professional lives. Welcome, Arun. Malti Kalmadi is a dynamic educator and social entrepreneur dedicated to empowering communities through innovative learning solutions. With a passion for inclusivity, she advocates for accessible education and skill development. Her efforts focus on fostering resilience and creativity, enabling individuals to thrive. Malti's leadership inspires collaboration and drives meaningful change, making a lasting impact on the lives she touches. Both Arun and Malti bring with them experiences to share and a wealth of wisdom from their lived experiences. I'm so grateful that they are here today with us to inspire us with their journeys. So, to set the context, in today's day and age, most people, especially the youth, seem to be disconnected with themselves and with others and with the world around them. And when I say that, I'd also like to add that there's also an attempt at all levels to find connections. And what one experiences as a result is a dance between the two ways of living and being, which is beautiful, isn't it? But how can we find a deeper connection with all? And how can we make it sustainable? Our conversation today will enable us to reflect on tools and practices that can help us connect on a deeper level with ourselves, others, and the world around us. So, yeah, I wanted to share something from my experience, but I'm skipping that because in the interest of time. So I'm curious about today's exploratory talk. And as you know, we are going to explore the self versus interconnectedness for all of life as one living whole. And we'll also explore the need to bring in more compassion, love, and energy as driving forces for effective leadership. I now hand you over to Arun Wakhlu for an engaging, open-hearted, open-minded sharing to discover fresh perspectives.
Thank you
Over
very
to you,
much.
Arunji.
Thank you. Thank you, Ritu, and thank you, Dhananjay, and a very hearty namaste to everyone. And for those who know, I think namaste really is simply a simple way in India of saying, I salute the sacred in you, I salute the wholeness in you, I salute that divine space in you, which is all there is. And I'm very, very grateful to be here with you because I love conversation. I love connection, conversation, co-creation. So my heart is full of gratitude. And when I look around the world, yes, things don't seem to be going too well. But for that also, I have gratitude because, dear friends, I think we are at the cusp of a very new world. I think the old ways of doing things are falling apart, things are changing, and a new world of love, of compassion, of wholeness is about to be born. And we are the ones who will make that happen, who are making it happen through these conversations. I think if you look at this beautiful picture of people from all over the world, I think they share one common thing, and that is life. All of them share life. You take away life, and they're just mitti and they're just earth, nothing else, molecules. But the common thread through all these friends is life, that living power that governs every breath of ours, that governs the trees, the birds, the seasons, everything. And I think for me, life is love in full expression. And it is this life that will take us through to the new world, a world of love that works for all people. And when I say all people, all races, all communities, all nations, including the animals, including the environment, I think animals also deserve love. They also deserve compassion. The earth and her children, all her children, every species deserves love and compassion from all of us, human beings who are right on the edge of the chain. So, what we'll do today is look at the sustainable development goals, and then I'll talk about the inner development goals. But if you look at these sustainable development goals, it appears just like tiles. It's kind of mechanical. It doesn't show the interdependence of these goals. It doesn't show any links or hierarchies, and it just seems like a flat mechanistic kind of structure. And I believe there are 220 indices or something like that. So some people in Sweden, before that, I think one of the problems we see, when we say, okay, we have to achieve these sustainable development goals, but the problems we see is fragmentation. We find divisions, even government departments not talking to each other. We find NGOs not talking to each other, even within the same organization. Because we are consultants to organizations, so even in the same organization, one department is not talking to another department. So we have no chance of meeting the SDGs unless we find a way to overcome this particular enemy, which is the ego, which is a false self. I mean, it's a notion of the self which is totally false. As the masters in India have said, there is no such self. I mean, you're all life. We are all life and we are all one whole. But we superimpose on this wholeness, we superimpose notions of I'm a Hindu, I'm a Muslim, I'm German, I'm French, or whatever, and we create divisions, we create fragmentation. So, see, people have traditionally said, okay, triple bottom line, people, profit, planet. But, now young people are saying, hey, but what about purpose? It's not enough to just have a triple bottom line, planet, people, profit. That's not good enough. You need purpose. Why are we here on the planet? What is it all about? Right? And I think keeping some of these things in mind, a story comes to my mind, which is that there was a person called Mullah Nasruddin, and he had one donkey only. And he was running around in the village, sitting on that donkey. And people said, Mullah, where are you going? What's the matter? Why you're looking very worried? He said, I've lost something. And they said, what have you lost? And he said, I've lost my donkey. But he was sitting on that donkey. And the reason I mention this is, friends, because all that we need for a world that works for all is with us right now. Every single bit of knowledge, insight, awareness, technology, know-how, herbal medicine, permaculture, you name it, and it's there on the planet. Yeah. Another story that I'm reminded of, there was a person sitting, a despondent beggar sitting in the street, and he was asking a monk who was going by, please give me something. I don't have anything. And, can you give me some food? Give me something. And the monk said, have you looked inside that box? What's that box you're sitting in? And when he opened the box, he found that it was full of gold. I think our condition today on the planet is exactly like Mullah Nasruddin and this beggar. We have everything we need. We have all that we need. We have more than we need. And yet the world is still not functioning well. Now, trying to solve this problem, the Stockholm Resilience Group created what is called the SDG wedding cake. I put the link over there and you can look it up. They said, okay, the first layer is the biosphere, that is the planet. Then the next layer is people, and the third layer is profit, economy. But notice that economy is right on top. It almost seems that, hey, the whole thing of life is about economy. But that's such a big mistake. It's not about economy. It's about well-being. It's about joy. It's about wellness and wholeness and celebration. right? So the SDG, but this was a very good starting point, the wedding cake model of the SDGs. And then I was playing around with the wedding cake model and I said, hey, but the IDGs fit underneath that wedding cake. And so I stuck the IDGs inside beneath this Stockholm model and said, okay, there are the IDGs. And I said, hey, the IDGs are not enough. You got to awaken. Unless you awaken to the real self, unless you awaken to the whole self, all this is just going to be a lot of talk and words and not good enough. Because please remember, the East has huge masters. We have amazing understanding of what is wholeness, what is the self, and that needs to come in. Okay, but just taking the story further, many people, look at this, the IDGs, and then I noticed that being relationship to self, and this caught my eyes. And hang on, just a minute. You don't relate to yourself. Everything is yourself. Every single bit of life is your real self. There is only one self, only one wholeness. There's only one life, and that's who we are. So, again, looking at all this, we said, okay, let's see what the masters are saying. The masters of India, whether it's, Bhumananda or, you know, and so many wonderful Ramana Maharishi and all, they say life is one whole. There is only one self. There is no separate self. So, what would happen if we brought some of this knowledge into the IDGs and SDGs? So, we said, okay, let's first understand what these masters are saying. They are saying you are infinite space. What does that mean? That means you're infinite silence. If you go inside, inside, there's no one there. There's just Mauna. Your infinite peace. Peace is not something you have to fight for or build it or whatever. Your peace, your core is Shanti. Your core is infinite Nitya Shanti, unbounded peace. Your awareness, Chetna, consciousness. We are compassion. At our heart, we are pure love, pure compassion. That's who we are. That's what life is. And finally, we are also emptiness inside. So, keeping this in mind, and of course, these are also covered in my books, One Wholesome World, Managing from the Heart and Awakening Wholeness. We see that many leaders like Jacinda Ardern, Catherine Jacobsdottir, and Nicola Sturgeon, Scotland, are talking about wellness. They say, hey, forget about economics. It's all about wellness, and do look them up. Right? So here we are, we're saying, here's a new way of looking at all this. Awakening wholeness right at the bottom, which is at the heart of the IDGs, which then feeds into the aspects of, natural abundance based on wholesome leadership. The first two layers, and that feeds into human abundance, and finally joy and freedom, which is really what it's all about. So if we had to look at it layer by layer, we would say, okay, the IDGs, at the heart of the IDGs is being not as relationship itself, but awakened self, awakening to the power of life, to who you really are. That will enhance collaboration, that will enhance thinking and acting and relating. And that brings us to better leadership, good work for all and partnership and, sustainable communities and cities and consumption. So it requires conscious leadership, wholesome leadership of enlightened leaders who then steward the biosphere and look after natural abundance, which in turn helps us for human abundance because food, forests, and other things can give us enormous natural abundance. I mean, let me just share with you 60% of the unused arable land on the planet is in Africa. 60% of unused, fertile, beautiful agricultural land of the whole planet is in the continent of Africa. But why is it that you have droughts? Why do you have food shortages and those pictures of children with big kwashiorkor and other malnourishment? Why? Because there's poor leadership, there's corrupt leadership, right? So we have enough natural abundance, like that beggar sitting on the golden box, like Mullah Nasruddin. We have enough for human abundance for all. We have enough for joy, peace, and abundance. And finally, at the end of the day, notice that awakening is right on the top and right in the bottom. So awakening is not only a means, it is an end. So the IDGs and SDGs can be energized by wholeness, can be energized by awakening, can be energized by listening to the inner voice and pausing, right? And Malti will tell you more about that. So just imagine when we are awake to the real self, there's more respect. Hey, you are another me, Ubuntu. You are nothing but another me. I am one wave on the ocean of life. You are another wave. There's compassion. There's deep listening, silence and listening, and kindness and gratitude, love and friendship. So, this is the real electricity of development. Otherwise, you have bulbs and motors and fans, and you have, all kinds of radiators and other things, but you have no electricity. There's no electricity of compassion. There's no electricity of waking up. So this is the proposition, is that waking up as part of the IDGs, central to the IDGs, being is central, but with a slightly different twist, which is wake up to who you are, feed into the restructured SDGs, and that will help us to become a world that works for all. I just want to end with two little points. Number one is Thich Nhat Hanh, person I deeply revere. He says we will be more successful in all our endeavors if we can let go of the habit of running all the time, running, and take little pauses to relax, recenter ourselves, listen to your heart, listen to your inner voice, and we will also have a lot more joy in living. Right? So this is one thing. And when you pause, and I do it regularly, I teach all my leaders, everyone I coach, everyone I teach, I say, please, please pause. Please pause. Take time to be still. Take time to experience the peace of who you are. Take time to remember that I'm awareness. That is the real self, the silent awareness inside. Take time to understand that there are no two selves. The self of all of you and myself is the same one self, which is life. Take time to be silent. And please remember that you tap into phenomenal energy when you do that. So, with those words, I would just like to pause here. Pause. I'm practicing pause. And I would like to hand it over to my colleague Malti Kalmadi, with whom we have done some wonderful work in the area of education, today's society. Tomorrow, there is a question and answer session later on. So without any ado, over to you, Malti. I'm going to stop sharing and thank you to all for listening. And I salute the one self, the divine core that is you. Namaste.
Thank you, Arun. And I must share with you that this morning, as we were discussing the evening session, my daughter shared with me on her way to work. She said, Mom, I think this poem is very nice, and I think it will do you good for your session this evening. And you won't believe it with what it began, okay? It says, before the poem, how often do we pause and remember that we are not just on this planet, but of it? And I said, oh my God, when you were talking so much about pause and not running all over the world, I said, oh my God, this is really a gift. And you spoke about ego too. And I feel that this was a gift to me because it reminded me to stay humble, kind, and connected. And in fact, what she shared was part of a poem. It says, you are comprised of 84 minerals, 23 elements, and 8 gallons of water spread across 38 trillion cells. And I had a good laugh when I thought about that. And here I think I'm a human being and I'm different from everything around me. I am the greatest creation of whosoever has created me. I said, oh my God, is that all I am? It's a humbling thought that everything we are, body, mind, and spirit, it all comes from this earth. We are recycled stardust, butterfly wings, and wolf fur brought together, as you shared in your picture, by the magic of life. All those people around this world that we saw, that is life. So let's treat the planet and ourselves with the respect they deserve. Not as resources, not as profit, not as resources to exhaust, but as extensions of each other. Be kind to the earth. Be kind to yourself also. I say be kind to ourselves. Because we and the earth are one. So this is a beautiful gift that I got today, and I couldn't help it because we did not discuss that you would have something written pause, and I would continue by really helping all of us understand what is that pause that we need to make and what is the connection that we need to make between each one of us who is here. And in fact, when I was looking at the 17 SDGs that we have all promised each other in 2015, and we said by 2030, we would somehow manage at least something of it. I realized that it is actually connected to people. Whatever, wherever you look at, it is connected to people, because I was thinking about, okay, who invented the first comb? Who invented the first loo? Who invented the first steam engine? And I thought to myself that whatever was created by human beings. And today, of course, we have AI, which is created, and so many things which are happening in all our lives. And this connection that we see is a connection of people and a connection with development. So the pause which needs to come, which Arun has so clearly shared with us, is a pause for mindful development. And mindful development, where purpose is very, very important. And this purpose, which we talk about, as I shared earlier with Ritu and Dhananjay and Arun, it comes by understanding what is our dharma. Purpose and dharma come next to one another. Because dharma is not only connected with justice, but as Arun shared in his slide, it is all about being. So whether it is ice, what is the dharma of ice? Or whether it is a teacher, what is the dharma of a teacher? or whether it is a mother. What is the dharma of a mother? A dharma of a person who is innovating something for a certain purpose. Everywhere, if we have more clarity of dharma, then I think we would be able to live together as real human beings. And Arun did ask me to share about the work which we do with educators, because I've been in this field for almost 40 years. And during my journey in the field of education, I realized that as an educator, do I really understand what is my dharma? And in the field of education, we are luckily not only connected with students, but we are connected with teachers, we are connected with parents, we are connected with a large community. In fact, it is a mini society. So when I started working here, and when I was introduced to initiatives of change, which is in Panchgani, I realized that when I participated in a 4-day conference, 5-day conference at IFC, I realized that in this beautiful space called Asia Plateau, as educators, we were given a lot of time to reflect upon our dharma as an educator, and also our dharma as being a human being on this beautiful planet. And that actually, Arun shared with you the awakening. And this is the awakening that I will be sharing with you. This awakening comes from the space which is connected to your heart. And just yesterday, I heard Mohan Agashe, who's a psychiatrist, and he shared something beautiful, He said that in schools, as soon as the child is put into school, you start working on the left side of his brain, his or her brain. So immediately, you just teach the child to read, write, and think. But what about your right side of your brain, where it actually nourishes your personality, it makes who you are? What about the right side of the brain? What are you doing? And I said, as an educator, oh my God, this is a beautiful, I felt that I was destined to be there, because normally I don't attend during the daytime, but yesterday I spent almost half a day there. And maybe God wanted me to be there for just this, to listen to the left and right side of the brain from a psychiatrist. And what he said was, God has given us 2 eyes, God has given us 2 ears, he has given us 2 hands and legs for a purpose. And if we need to work on using the planet in the right way, then we need to balance the left and right side. And as educators, I think we need to focus on the right side to give it equal importance. because the brain starts developing only after the child is about 6. And why are we in a hurry to teach the child to write and to read even before that? And this beautiful understanding with which I reflected at initiatives of change. We have a vertical called Education Today, Society Tomorrow. And that was established almost 30 years ago. And we have with us Arun. He is one of the founders of that vertical for initiatives of change. Arun and Kiran Gandhi, these two people are the people who were fathers in the industry, in the corporate world, who realized when the children came back home, well, what they were speaking was not something that would benefit the world. And so they started this space for all of us. And from that space, I learned beautiful concepts like inner listening. And this inner listening is something which I would like all of us to take away. And in this inner listening, it is all about keeping every day some time to just sit quietly. There is no list to be made. There should be no other thoughts. So how do you calm your thoughts? And it is better if it is done at the regular time where we allocate for the day. And during that time, if we can reflect upon how the day has gone by and appreciate and show gratitude to all the things that have come to our lives. For instance, when I came back yesterday from Mohan Agashe's discussion, I came back and I said, thank you for this beautiful understanding of the working of the brain. So these are small, tiny things that we need to appreciate and show our gratitude. So connecting to that. And also being human beings, sometimes we may have hurt people and maybe things were not going right all the time. And that is very natural because you can't be an egoless person all the time. And as human beings, it's always work in progress. So connecting to whatever has been done during the course of the day, we call it connection. And in case there is some correction that needs to be done, could we correct? And those corrections could be maybe picking up the phone and apologizing, or the correction could be that looking at how else you could maybe make it better. Because as a person, I follow 3 things when I speak to people. And they are, I pray also every day that it should be whatever I speak is hitam, good for all. Second is, it is priyam, it is loving. And third is, it is satyam, is the truth. And all this can come only if you are in that space. So being very aware of what we speak is very important. So I shared with you connection, correction, and the last is direction. What direction you will take after you have connected and you have corrected. So CCD, of course, it's very easy to remember CCD because Cafe Coffee Day has come into our lives, and we all know about Cafe Coffee Day, especially in India. And so this CCD is something, if we can practice every day, of inner listening, it is called. And thanks to Arun, I've had these listening circles, because many a time we love to talk, but when it comes to listening, we see that we don't listen. So I will pause here and would love to hear from each one of you, because I'm sure Arun and myself, we have not come here to give a bhashan. We have come here to interact with you, because once we interact with you, we will be able to become a community. And when we become a community, we become stronger. In fact, I loved when Arun shared about pause. So he says peace, awareness, unity, silence, and energy. So this awareness with which the pause will enable us to really look at ourselves and see how we work will enable us to take things forward. And as I shared with you, Dharma is actually a universal law of nature. And this Dharma is applicable to everyone. And these are the laws in nature. So it's called as universal law. And these laws of nature are not written as SDGs or IDG. For those of you who don't know what are SDGs and IDGs, one is Sustainable Developmental Goals and Inner Developmental Goals. So Dharma is universal, and it can be realized by deep contemplation and experiences. So these are experiences that each one of us needs to have, because these experiences then become the guiding light. Dharma becomes the compass, and this compass is there within each one of us. And for some of us, it is all wrapped up, you know. This compass is all wrapped up inside us. But for some of us, it is uncovered a little. And as I shared earlier, it is work in progress. So let us see how we unbox and how we awaken, as Arun shared, so that we all as a community will be able to share how we have been doing our work together. Because, of course, Arun did ask me to share quite a lot of things that we do in our school by way of nurturing compassion in children. We have an urban-rural connect happening. We call it a Gram Setu, because there is so much of inequalities between our urban and rural spaces, because we have tribal people, so there are no opportunities, lack of opportunities. So we are trying to bridge that gap, and we are trying to do all this. We're looking at working with rivers. We work with rivers here. So there are so many things happening, but I think today, let us just pause and see how can we unbox or unwrap our inner compass which will actually direct us towards becoming more aware of ourselves and becoming more into understanding what is our purpose on this earth.
Thank you,
Thanks, Malati.
Jeet.
Very nice.
That was heartfelt sharing, and it's received right here in my heart. Thank you very much. So with this, as you said, we will have interaction, we will have questions so that we'll have people sharing what they think, what their thoughts are, and you could also answer their queries. So can we take 3 minutes or 2 minutes pause at
Yes.
this point? Maybe we can turn off our cameras and I'll leave you all with the question, what question are you holding? What will you bring after this pause to this space? So see you in 3 minutes. Welcome back after the bio break. For some of us, it was reflection time. For some of us, it was attending to our biological needs. So now that we are back, how does it feel, and what is it that you bring to this conversation? What question are you holding? The floor is all yours.
Maybe short comments also are welcome, Ritu. If somebody wants to make a short comment or share something, most welcome.
Absolutely, that would also be welcome. Mrinalini has raised her hand, although her network is not stable, but appreciate that, Mrinalini. Please go ahead.
Yes, I want to bring here about actually taking a pause about what we are doing in our day-to-day life. I think sometimes we are just running around. Like just to give example, this month I have some around 5 invitations for marriage and stuff, and I really don't want to go. I want to pause. I don't know how to say no, and I want to thank the speakers, the conversation and the presentation, your talks just touched my heart. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thanks, Shruti, for your sharing.
You're on mute, Arunji. Request you to unmute yourself. Arunji?
Sorry, no, I had muted it because my dog is screaming here. So sorry. Was there a question directed to me?
No.
Okay. Now you know why I muted.
I thought you were trying to.
She just shared a comment. Yeah. So Vijayam is.
Yes, Vijayam, please go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. I just wanted to thank you for this timely conversation. It's always, a great reminder, not a gentle reminder. It's a great reminder for all of us, especially educators, because I very strongly believe that as educators, we have that power to, bring in so much of transformation in society. And it was, as usual, wonderful listening to you, Arun and Malti. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like to take this conversation forward. How can we do that? I remember, our first meeting in Pune, Arun, when I relocated to Pune. So we'll continue this conversation.
Sure,
Thank
sure,
you.
sure.
Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Thank you, Vijayam. Devika.
Yes, sir. And thank you so much. My question is to you. As an educator, every time we look at, students or parents who have a compromised kind of, state of living or being, where, so just the other day we had this report day, and I had this suspicion that the twins girls who had come with their father had not really come with the father. So I confronted the mother afterwards and I asked her whether it was the father. And she said, I mean, very, not even embarrassed. She smiled and she said, yes, that was not the father. So the whole uh, scenario of, not wanting to bring in the father because the girls were failing, and maybe because he's a very strict man, and, so again, there are lots of dimensions to, that human behavior that we get to see every time. And so I think these kinds of conversations really bring us back, because you really don't know how to behave with them. There was anger, there was disgust on my side, and then it was like, but being an Indian family, you really don't know what happens at the other end in the family, the equation in the family. So I don't know, it's a reflection, it's a question, but how do you handle these things? Because most of the times you see people around you thinking it's all okay, and when you try to make them understand that it is not, somewhere you become the idiot, and it's very frustrating at times. How do you deal with that?
Sure, sure. Thanks. Thank you, Devika. I think you're asking a question on behalf of many of us. I think whether we are educators or consultants or development facilitators, I think we are all the time confronted with situations that are not necessarily aligned with dharma, are not aligned with wholeness, so on. So you can do two things. One is that you can jump into the quagmire and start, blaming and attacking and judging, or you can do another thing, which is a little more difficult, which is to remain centered in your compassion, remain centered in your own self, forgive the other person. Forgive does not mean you condone the behavior. It means you look behind that behavior and say, hey, this is the same self. This is the same universal ocean of love expressing as this. And why is it doing that? Because, Devika, it has come to teach you compassion, and it has come to teach you that, hey, choose a thought or thought patterns that counter what you're seeing. So if you're seeing a dirty city, Stay anchored in your purity, in your wholeness, in your joy, and start visualizing a clean Pune, a clean Srinagar, a clean Bombay. And let that compassion and love get you to do something about it rather than jump into the quagmire of hate and blame and attack, which is what you're seeing in the world. And Malti, would you like to add to this? Because I'm sure you have encountered this also. And please unmute Malti. Thanks.
In fact, when Devika was asking you the question, I understand where she comes from. I used to feel that way. But as Arun was sharing, keeping yourself away from the situation. Because what happens is whenever there is a situation like this and you are experiencing, remember that experiencing, which I said, then that experience should not be triggering your left brain. So what happens is that left brain throws up so many scenes in front of you. It's a film that is played, okay? And it comes within seconds. Pause. 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 And when you pause, Devika, I'm sharing my experience. Each one of us is different. So when you pause, for me, it has helped me. My heart doesn't beat that time so fast. Physically, my heart quietens down. And when my heart quietens down, then my left and right side of my brain becomes a little balanced, still not balanced, but then the CCD works.
Very nice. Thank you.
So it happens. It happens.
Thanks.
And it will happen. It will happen. So,
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Malti. And I just read a question from Amina Bal. She says, grateful for the sharing and remembering and bringing us back to the truth. The question for both of us is, can awakening and wholeness and connection to Dharma be activated before time? My experience is that this can't be forced through concepts, as there is a natural process. All souls have to come to that inner journey and experience of life. Wholeheartedly agree with you, Amina. Everybody is not the same. There's a right time. And the metaphor that comes to me is that, you have very dry wood, damp wood, and very soggy, wet wood. And you throw all of them into a fire, the tinder, the dry wood will immediately catch fire, the damp one will dry up, and the soggy one will become damp. So the answer to your question is everyone has their own journey. However, we can't really change other people. But what we can do, Amina, is we can consciously work on our own awakening. We can consciously meditate. We can consciously forgive and do many things. And I've just put a note in the chat box called Awakening Compassion. And download that. And that gives you many 5 or 6 things that we can do. So, Amina, let's take care of our own awakening and trust that we'll be guided what to do for others. I don't think we can awaken others, but you can radiate your love, your compassion for others, and pray that it touches someone's heart. And again, you can't direct that, Amina. The universe will do that for you. Whom you're sitting with in a plane, whom you meet, what you say, what will come your way. Trust the universe to guide us there, but you go all out to wake up now. There's no time. Tomorrow the pani ka bulbula may be gone. So every moment, let's remember, I'm pure, unbounded awareness. I am wholeness. I am life. I am life. We're all life. Over to you, Malti.
And to add to what Arun said, I say that I am love. And that is very important. Once you know that you are love, an embodiment of truth and love, You are just that. You are born to love. Okay, that is one. And another thing which, while during my reflection time yesterday that I got was, I said, as soon as a child is born, okay, we have so many experiences. Some of the babies keep crying all the time. Some of these babies sleep through the night. So this, on my reflection, I said, oh my God, right from when I'm a baby, I realized that all babies are not the same. And all of us are different. Let us accept that. But I think we do not want to accept differences. We want to be treated as just human beings is a species and all human beings are the same. Whereas when you go into a garden and you see that every plant is not the same, we accept that, but we don't accept human beings. And with this example of a baby, I feel that it is only because we come up with, since we are all here, I will share about the 3 gunas. It is tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. So we come in different natures. Just like how I gave the example of a baby comes, a baby behaves, a baby cries because of the nature of the baby. But we want everybody to be the same. So I think that understanding for dharma, I think it is just understanding that dharma. By being able to learn, we have to build on it. And that comes only with awareness. And that comes with silence. So I think once you pause, once you become more aware daily of how you have worked through the day, and reflecting on that will help you establish and build on your dharma. Because in dharma, you are playing so many roles. You may be a father, you may be a grandfather, you may be a professor, you may be a MD of a company or whatever. But when you are playing so many roles, what is your dharma? And even a citizen, being a citizen is a dharma. So I think all these slowly has to be built up, because once you become more aware, then you will be able to establish your dharma. Because when a child is born, the child doesn't know what is the child's dharma. Dharma slowly has to be built upon. And that you can build upon only if you have created that sort of space around you, that sort of an environment around you. So I think it is a journey. Dharma is a journey, but having a purpose and understanding that I want to be able to follow my dharma is something which will come only if you have a purpose of being one with nature. So, and that is all about the sustainable developmental goals, that you put all of us human beings together, then things should be okay. So I hope, Amina, that we were able to answer your question.
Meena, would you like to unmute yourself? There, you've left a heart.
I know you
Yes.
left a heart.
Yes, Malti and Arun, thank you for that conversation.
A big hug to you.
Thank you. To you
Yes.
back.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm just tempted to say that the purpose of life is to be joyful.
Yes.
to be happy in each moment. Everything else is footnotes. So, and you can be joyful now. You don't have to wait. You can just remember that joy is your real self. Peace is your real self, is our real self. And the wait is to be still, to just be silent. Any other questions
We
or
have
anything
15
else?
more minutes, Arunji, and I think we can invite others to also share their thoughts on what
Sure.
at this point.
Welcome.
Anybody
And
is welcome to build on what's just been shared. It would be lovely to hear how you are reflecting through this conversation. So, would anyone like to share? So, meanwhile, maybe
So may I, Ritu?
Yes, please, Pallavi.
Yeah. So I'd just like to take what both the speakers, Mrs. Kalmadi and Arunji, has shared, is a practice that we have in school, which has really benefited a number of students. And this I know through their feedback and testimonials, is something called as quiet time, which goes so beautifully with inner listening, which goes so beautifully with reflective thinking. This is something that we practice at the end of the day for a span of 10 minutes, where students either are taken through a guided quiet time where reflective questions are asked to the children to think about their day. Uh, did they do something that is really hurting them? Did they do something nice that is really making them, feel a lot of joy? uh, would they like to change something that happened today and have a different kind of an experience the next day, or just have a very, very quiet, peaceful time where there are no words shared, but the children share their thoughts in their reflective journals? And through those journals, we've got such beautiful sharings of children's feelings, how what they are experienced through the day, through art, through poems, through pictures. And it's just so endearing to see how children share their emotion. Those 10 minutes, it's kind of a very safe space for them to share what they experience. And today I got the best testimonial because today we had the annual event for grade 5. So these are 10 and 11-year-olds who were presenting their concept of peace, the SDG 16. We didn't take the other parts of social institution and all, peace and justice. The way they described the concept of peace within me, peace in my family, peace in my school, peace in the community, and how I experience peace when I'm with nature. And the final one was world peace, which was an amalgamation of all these components of peace. So it was beautiful to see the way children envision peace, because here they worked with their class teachers and they made these beautiful presentations through skits and songs and dances and poetry. And right now I'm feeling I don't know how to share, because there's so much to share that this time is not enough. So it's beautiful when you allow the children to conceptualize a concept based on their understanding. Usually the teachers or the adults in the school will enforce their thoughts on the children. This is how we should present. But what we saw today is what they think of peace at home, what they think of peace in nature, and the concept of world peace. So I can just go on and on, because from the time that I was listening to Arunji and Maltiji, I just felt this is what the children presented today.
Excellent.
So,
Congratulations, Pallavi. This
thank you.
is so heartening, so heartening. Thank you.
Thank you.
See,
But-
Pallavi,
Yes.
this divine grace.
Yeah.
This session, I was supposed to meet you in the afternoon. You were to
Yeah.
share about this piece today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
divine grace, that's all. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And, as educators, I think this idea that I have to hold space or I have to give space, no, be that space.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
that space of infinite silence, peace, awareness, compassion, emptiness. And in that, the miracles and magic will happen. So I think we
Yeah.
just
And
have to
it was a
dissolve
magical
ourselves,
experience. Yeah. So
dissolve
they
ourselves.
exactly. Listening to the children was a magical experience. That's the word.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ritu.
Thank you, Kalmadi, for that share. And I think Kaveri Group of Institutes is such a good example for all institutes in India and even abroad, the kind of work that you all are doing. And I would be very, very happy to see everyone learn from your experience. So
Thank you.
I'm so great that you all are connected with inner development goals and SDGs. Of course, you all have been working in that space for so long, and now it's such a good example for others to understand how this is being done and mapped in your institutes. So thank you for that wonderful work. And we still have about 9 minutes to go, and I think I would like to give this opportunity to the voices that have not been heard. So would be lovely to have all of you maybe open your cameras and be visible to us, or just unmute yourself and share what you feel like sharing, what's unfolding. Shruti, welcome. This is the first time I'm seeing you. We've been chatting. Yes. Would you like to share your experience today?
Was my first time, and yeah, just rushed through classes and everything, and which is why like half of the time the mind was like, oh, did I miss anything? Or, you know, wanted to understand how do we operate. And it's a beautiful experience. I'm just holding my space, realizing the need to be calm. Exams time. So yeah, the peace is gone.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I went back to business school to study as a full-time student after 20 years of work experience. So
Excellent.
my batchmates' parents are my age.
Congratulations. Really appreciate your adventuresomeness and coming out of the comfort zone. So Shruti, really good to hear that.
Yeah, thank you so much. The exams still worry me, and I feel very restless. I feel that I'm incompetent and so on and so forth.
May I share a gift with you, Shruti? And of course, it's relevant to everyone.
Oh, yes, please.
So just say after me, I am unconditionally okay.
I
I'm
am unconditionally okay,
exactly as I am.
exactly as I am.
Yeah, I'm perfection in progress.
I am perfection in progress.
Yeah, because a rosebud, which is like this, is not a bad rosebud. There's nothing wrong with the rosebud. It's a rosebud. And then with sunshine, it becomes like this. So it's okay. And then it becomes like this. It's okay. Then the petals drop. That's okay. So I think deep acceptance of yourself as being one with the wisdom of life and remembering you're unconditionally okay, you're unconditionally beautiful. You don't have to do a thing to be unconditionally okay. I mean, it brings so much peace and joy. And it doesn't mean you don't do anything. You do it, but with joy and with celebration of what's happening.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'll invite Dhanesh also to share something with us. He's joining all the way from UK, and he was in Pune a while back. So, and
Ganesh.
pleasure of meeting Dhanesh in Stockholm. So it's wonderful to have you here.
Hi, Arun. Good to see you again. And
You too, Dhanesh. Yes.
it's been many years, but
Yes.
that sort of gives me to this reflection of, and this is more a personal reflection, is you say that when someone is ready, right, the guru comes, right, and for me, I have sort of probably not as much called out in terms of inner development goals, but basically have been working in this space in the corporate sector for 25, 30 years. And I've seen paths cross right? And sometimes you just say that, well, this is all united. If we have to meet, we have to meet. So it's like I never thought that I would meet you today, and Malti, again, a great connection here.
Yes.
Ritu as well. Thanks for bringing us together. So it's like when things have to be wholesome, they just are.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely. Very true. And the universe is miraculous. It does what it has to do without our intervention. We just have to trust, Danish. Have to trust.
And when you are filled with a lot of love, I call these small miracles. These are actually miracles which happen, and they happen throughout. But you should be in your space of that love and dharma. Then you just see how beautiful the world is. I mean, you have to experience to like, in fact, when Shruti was sharing, it reminded me of the time when I did my school psychology course. And then my daughter was in college at that time. So she told me, I said, I'm not going to give the exam. I joined the course because I wanted to gain knowledge on psychology. But actually, as Arun said, I felt I might fail. So I didn't want to give the exam. But at night, she wrote a beautiful card. And she says, Mama, you can do it. That one little card on my bed stand, it gave me so much confidence. And then I stood first in the batch. So I was laughing when you were sharing. So as you said, it was, I think, what Arun shared also. I am perfection in progress. I mean, that is what my daughter need to be.
But just because educators are sitting here, can I just say something?
Yeah.
Sure, Shruti.
I take time to learn. And that realization came to me only now. As a student, I've always suffered with anxiety because, it's a competitive space. You have to score, you have to rank. And again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm running after the marks, ignoring my learning, and that eventually will happen. The subjects where I'm the weakest, I actually told my professor I'll not do group work. I'll do something on my own so that I learn. But even today, the education system still makes it competitive to explore. People who are slow learner don't get the space.
True. Very true.
And this is what is now worrying me, as like I have to get back to work also to make a living. Easiest option is to get back to job, and I really don't want to get back to competition because that's not something good for my mental health. So these are the questions deeper within me. And I fought with my faculty and I said, I'm a slow learner. You'll have to give me time and space. She said, we don't have time. Every semester has to be justified with a CGPA and so on and so forth. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll pass.
There is no such thing as a normal fingerprint, Shruti. Yeah, so just like there's no normal fingerprint, there is no normal human being, and we're all different. Devika has a hand up, and we have 1 more minute.
You have to unmute yourself, Devika.
Yeah, Shruti, just to answer you again, we have in Kalmadi Junior College a program which is for student empowerment. And so we take these students who are failing, we take them aside and we do a one-on-one with them and we try our level best. We don't give up. Okay. And we don't always ensure that there is 100% result. And Malti ma'am always says, that that's okay because she knows we've tried. And she's like, okay, at this age and the way students are, maybe you won't get 100% because at 12th standard everybody wants that title of 100% in everything and all passed. But still, just to answer your question, we do that. We don't carry on with the usual way that teachers, ignore a particular weak child after some time and say, okay, she's not going to make it anyways. Why do I waste my energy? We, in fact, pull them aside and we do a one-on-one with them. Even now, we are doing that with our 12th standard. Their exams, are in 30 days. So, yeah, we do that. A big learning for us also. And a big thing to follow, and we do it every year rigorously at Kaveri.
Thank you, Devika. Thank you for that. And that's, I think, inspiring for all of us here to know. And with new education policy, I'm very hopeful that things will get better. And we have Malati ji and Arun ji. I hope they agree with me on this statement. And maybe we can have just one line from both of you before I close for the day.
So Malati ji,
Yeah.
please go ahead. Follow you.
So I have a few questions which maybe I'm leaving you with. The questions which I would like to share with you is the heart meant to keep us physically alive? Is the heart only meant to keep us emotionally alive? Is the heart meant to keep us together as a human race? What is our purpose towards each other as human beings, as a part of the planet that was specially created so that we enjoy it as human beings?
Thank you for that reminder.
Thank you, Malati. And I'm just tempted to read a little portion of a poem, if I can just find it quickly. Just 1 second. So it's basically about a person who says that I can't sleep. It's 3:23 in the morning and I can't sleep because my great-great-grandchildren are keeping me awake. They're asking me, what did you do when the earth was falling apart? Did you go out? Did you protest? Did you do anything? I just want to leave you with one thought. If you listen to the sacred in your heart, and you will be guided, we'll all be guided to joyfully take action and do that. And once we do that, the next step will be shown. So I wish us all joyful action now, guided by the heart, guided by wholeness and life. And want to thank you all, and thank you, Ritu, thank you, Dhananjay. And namaste to each one of you. I bow down to the sacred in you, to the divine in you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to close by expressing my gratitude to both of you and each one of you who joined us today. And I'm so happy that in this space we could bring all of us together with the wisdom from our elders. And while we were here, we reflected on what we can do for our future generations. So with all generations being together today in this space and being connected through inner development goals, a foundation which is trying to connect all of us globally through inner development. And we had this conversation yesterday also, Malati ji and Arun ji and I and Dhananjay, that how we have come together because of this organization and how we are able to connect with each other. So it's wonderful to be doing what we are doing, and there's lots of work to be done, and great that we are on this path and this journey together and enjoying this journey. So thank you, everyone, once again.
Thank you. Thanks, Ritu.